I'll give my time to the folks.
How do you want to answer the same
I
question?
guess,
I'm curious
absolutely.
too.
Like what qualifies you for this position?
Well, you know, the genius of the Constitution is that the qualifications for a congressman are that you're 25, a citizen, and a resident for 7 years. And the reason that that's there is because it's designed to protect us from ever having a hereditary political class ruling over the American people. Now, giving that answer, does that mean that I think experience isn't necessary? No, absolutely not. I think experience is important, but there are different avenues to experience. I talked about, I spent 5 years in the Army. I was an intelligence analyst. I was stationed in Germany when the Berlin Wall came down. I actually got out of the Army, and then 2 days later, Iraq invaded Kuwait, so I went back into the Army. I spent a year and a half in Korea. I have the international experience. I have definitely, mine is the road less traveled to Washington, D.C., but I think what we have to look at, the most important thing, is how well is a representative going to do the job of actually representing the people of this district. How well does the representative go up there and reflect the values and the needs of his constituency? And so in that respect, what I offer in this race, again, is something unique. Obviously, I'm the underdog candidate, and I take great pride in that. And in order for what we're doing to work, all of this stuff with the video camera and everything, you could really look at that as it's just kind of a gimmick, unless the people of this district actually get involved. What I want to do is I want to maintain constant contact and constant transparency with the people of this district. And again, this is something that the new technology is really allowing us to do for the first time. And I'm hoping that what we can do in Washington is we can shine a light on some of the dark places where some of the really negative deals are going on. And by getting people in this district more involved directly in the process and getting them more interested, I think that we can really bring about a change for the entire nation.
How do you feel about term limits?
To be honest, I've never really been a big fan of term limits. I think the onus is on the American people. We have this opportunity when we're talking about this particular office. Every 2 years, we have the opportunity to revalidate the mandate for that person in office to be up there. And I think the problem I have with term limits is government is like any other profession. That it does take experience, it does take knowledge, and sometimes you're going to get people in there with the same old ideas that are just going to be retreading them over and over again, or the same old corruption. But sometimes you're going to have people who their best option in life, their best opportunity is to be in that position of government. And I think it's a mistake to arbitrarily say, no, that person shouldn't be there after 4 years or 8 years or whatever. I think that we, the people, need to stay vigilant, and that's the best way to guarantee that we have fresh representation in Washington.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I noticed that the incumbent is not present this morning, and he has not been present for any of the debates. And he's spent virtually no money in advertising until just recently, when he started a saturation TV campaign. I would like to know how any of you can combat this.
The power of incumbency. It is a challenge, and it's been a great honor this past couple of months to go out and actually do these forums with Senator Saunders and with Mr. Neal, and it's been really frustrating that Connie Mack hasn't been out here with us. Now, when we look at the election system that we have, what we have to recognize is that we live in a nation where it's one individual, one vote. It's not $1, one vote. So all of that money that's spent, that's all to get your votes. And I hope that what we're going to see in this race is that we're going to see a demonstration of the fact that having all that money and being able to just kick back and say, hey, I'm the incumbent, I don't have to work for it, is not going to work. I guarantee you that if by some strange chance one of the three of us standing here doesn't win this election, that Representative Mack is not going to win with the majority of the votes in this district. So at the very least, we're sending him a signal that he's got to work a lot harder. But more importantly than that, Love's going to win.
You're gonna get a 2-minute closing,
Okay.
so.
I thought that's not
think
a
your
question
5
for all.
minutes is
It
up,
was.
so would you like-
Yeah, it was just, I
Oh,
thought that was a
sorry,
question for all of us. not just-
It was.
Well, yeah, I guess so, I mean, why not? If all three of you want to answer that, whatever, but
Yes,
let's
go
suspend
ahead.
our rules. Jim's looking at me, so it's okay.
You know, I was listening to Karl Rove about 6 months ago talking about TV ads in this presidential election and these congressional elections. And his conclusion was that TV ads would not be as important as they have been in the past because people are kind of sick and tired of the political advertising. Most people just kind of phase those out, tune those out. I am running a pure grassroots campaign. And I can tell you, I've been to places like Dunbar up in Fort Myers, into the African-American churches, into the Hispanic churches. I've been to the Civic Association meetings in Cape Coral and Lehigh Acres. Really talking to an awful lot of people, doing sign waving, doing the door-to-door stuff, things that are pure grassroots. And what I am finding, and what I've always felt to be the case, is that people are more interested in seeing a candidate, listening to them, than they are watching a TV ad. And so I think this election will be a test of whether community involvement, I've been involved in the Lee Kyer communities for the last 10 years as your senator. This is a test of whether that community involvement plus a real grassroots campaign trumps a pure media campaign, a campaign purely based on money from out of this area, Washington, D.C. Political Action Committee money to purchase TV ads. My view is that the personal contact trumps the TV ad situation. We'll find out on November 4th.
Mr. Neal, do you have any?
Just briefly, I haven't raised enough money to do any TV. I haven't even raised enough money this year to do radio. So what we're going to find out is, as Senator Saunders described, whether the handshaking is more important than what they see on the TV. And it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to me to see what happens after the vote is counted on November 4th. If we have a recount, then somebody's going to have to spend the night at the supervisor's office so we don't have any ballots missing, but we should do that too. But no, thank you for having me here today.
Okay, so what we have is 2 minutes, so we're gonna start with Mr. George, then Mr. Neal, and some of the backwards order alphabetically, so.
Okay. Again, I want to thank you for having us here. This election, there is no question. This year we have an unprecedented mandate for change. Every candidate that goes up there is talking about change. Even the incumbent parties are up there saying that they want to get out there and they want to change things. Again, the question is how do we really actually change the system? Now, I believe that one of the fundamental problems that we have with the system right now is that the way that the parties operate, the way that the parties raise money, the way that the parties operate in lockstep on so many issues in Washington to the detriment of the will of the people. And this is what's got to change. Now, it's interesting, Senator Saunders brought up the fact that 50% of this district is Republican. Well, this is a four-way race. So if you divide 50% by 2, that's 25%. In a four-way race, the winner of this race could be the individual that shows up with 25% plus 1 vote. That's all it takes to change. And we have an opportunity to lead the nation in the way, to lead the nation by representing a truly independent candidate, to show people that we are independent-minded voters in this district. So I urge you, when you go to vote, or I'm sure most of you have already voted, but when we talk about the vote, to make sure that you're voting based on the issues, that you're not voting based along party lines, because as long as we vote our conscience, our votes will never, ever be wasted. And I also urge you to vote for me, Jeff George, when you get up there, because not only do I want to be your voice in Washington, but I'd like to be your eyes and ears as well. Thank you.
Again, thank you for inviting me to visit you this morning. I'm too of the stress that Senator Saunders thinks that only a Republican can win this race. That's certainly not true. But if I know some of you can't vote for a Democrat. You just can't do it. Well, if you can't vote for a Democrat, I would ask you to do one thing, just one kind thing for me. Gentlemen, vote for Congressman Mack. Ladies, vote for Senator Saunders. Then I'll be happy. But if we look at where our country is headed, if you elect Congressman Mack to represent you, if you re-elect him, if you elect Senator Saunders to represent you, nothing will change. The pain will continue. We will continue to mortgage our children's future. We will continue to mortgage our grandchildren's future, because both of them have exhibited those values that say borrow and spend, borrow and spend. We have to change the way we do business in Washington. We have to change the way we do business in Tallahassee. We must all pay our own bills for the good of our own community. So please, when you go to the voting booth, when you go to the ballot box, remember me. My name is Robert Neal. I'm a candidate in the United States House of Representatives, Florida's 14th Congressional District, and I'm the Democrat in the race. Thank you very much.
Again, I want to thank Tiger Bay for hosting this, and Kathleen for doing such a fine job as our moderator, and Jim with the prayer this morning. It really has been an honor for me to represent this area. I need your help to continue that representation. Pardon me. So if you're supportive, I'd like you to ask your friends, tell your email list, let them know how important this election is. I can promise you a couple of things. Number one, that I will work with independents, Democrats, and Republicans to solve the serious problems of the day. We talked about those with energy and the economy and immigration and health care. I also will promise you that if you need to talk to me, I'll be available to you. I will continue to work in this community just as I have for the last 10 years. I'll do my work in Washington, D.C., but I'll also do my work here in the district. I'll use my office to help make Cuyahoga County, Lee County, and Charlotte County even better places to live than they are today. But to get there, I need your help. And so, again, Bert Saunders, if you have any questions, any comments, you can reach me at bertsaunders.com or at my webpage. And I look forward to the opportunity to continue representing this fine area as your next congressman. Thank you very much.
I want to thank our an empty candidate here, for coming. And, you know, as they were concluding, I started to think, you know, just how isn't it wonderful that these three guys would come up here and just tell us how they feel, and, you know, and you can tell they really want to represent us in Washington, D.C. And, you know, we all start, you know, John and I sit down every night and we're just, oh man, it's terrible, and there's so much old junk going on. And then to actually meet face to face with three people who really care, it makes me feel a lot better. And so I just want to personally, and on behalf of Tiger Bay, thank all three of you for participating in the process. And whatever happens, the process is going to go forward, and we really appreciate doing that. Oh, yes. Okay, Jim wants to be recommended. We do have some board members here. Of course, Joe Foster, who is here, and Jim McLaughlin, who is the immediate past president, and Marilyn Vanish, who set all the Tiger Bay program up this time. See, that's it, who is here. Bob Motes hasn't been feeling well, so he's not been attending. Cora Cortolo's out of town, and Jerry Shore's out of town, and Brett Bashley's out of town. They probably already voted. Thank you all for coming. Pat? Oh, yeah, you know, if you want to talk about the amendment real quick, I mean, not the amendment, the referendum, that would be good. Go ahead, let's hear it.
2 minutes. The last item on the, I can have 3. The last item on the ballot deals with the school district referendum. This is a tax-neutral shift for property owners. We are asking permission to use $250,000 of our capital dollars for operating. It is guaranteed by the governor that next year, on top of the $26 million we had to cut out of this year's budget to educate our students, we will likely have another $20 to $25 million cut in the 2010 budget. This referendum will allow us to use $19 million of our capital dollars for operating. that will help us maintain programming for our students. Please, if you have additional questions, talk to me. It is crucial that this community pass this referendum for us.
Pat, can you afford to use the capital monies once you need them right now?
No, we don't. We have done an excellent job in an aggressive building campaign. As of right now, we are opening our last 4 schools under construction. We have 4 schools open this year. We now have our infrastructure to support all of our classrooms for the class size reduction amendment. We have eliminated almost all of our portables. And right now, we do not have a new school proposed for construction for another 4 years. We are in good shape.
In the 11th, the new high school in the 11th.
And that may be pushed back, but the new high school is the next school.
The only thing on the agenda right now is the DeSoto bus people. My question, people are concerned of what's going to happen with that money. It's just stated very generally where it's going to go. My answer to them, I don't know what yours is, but my answer to them is elect a board that will scrutinize what the superintendent recommends, and we don't have to worry about it.
Well, absolutely. But the other step we've committed to at our last board meeting, we will on our November agenda place the creation of an oversight committee. If the referendum passes, there will be an oversight committee that will be put in place, and their main job and responsibility will be to monitor the use of this money and to report to the community.
I didn't catch your name.
I'm Pat Carroll, I'm vice chair of the school board.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Hey, Pat, you just mentioned that we have 4 new schools coming online. And we know we have a decline in enrollment in the school system. How are we going to fill them up?
As of right now, because of the decline in enrollment, we have been able to push back the proposed construction of future schools. Right now, our schools are, our latest elementary school has about 500 students in it. The design capacity is 900. But the majority of our schools are at capacity, so that we have enough classrooms to meet class size reduction, like I said. But for the next 4 years or so, this is what we're proposing, that with rezoning and with working with the vacancies within our current schools, we will have enough space.
As you know, I sit on the committee that picks or recommends architects, engineers, contractors, annual contracts, etc. We looked at the class size amendment that we voted for. Maybe I didn't vote for it,
Yes, yes.
but the public as a whole voted for it, and those schools were needed. Had you gone out and saw this overcrowding, portables, which are economically unfeasible, correct? We did not overbuild. I'll speak for the committee because we have very strict rules of how we recommend to the board, and the board has never turned us down.
And we may be a district in decline as far as enrollment, but that's only 400 students, okay? We have had an average increase in enrollment of 2,000 students a year. That's the increase, and that's what we've had to plan for. Right now, 2 years ago, we had 0 enrollment. Last year, we had a decrease of about 100 students. This year, we had a decrease of about 300 students. So when you talk about that percentage, compared to an overall student enrollment of 43,000 students, okay, then our decrease is very little. So what I'm saying is, some people say we're a school district in decline, but it's minimal. It is technically, yes, but it is minimal. We don't expect that to increase much. We are not seeing the mass exodus of employees like we did 2 and 3 years ago. In '05, when property values increased so drastically. We believe that the population for our school system is stabilizing. But like I said, we don't have to plan for student increase right now. And that's why our schools are, I think, sufficient to meet our needs for the next 3 or 4 years.
Where will additional money come from in 2010? Because the capital fund is going to be reduced because of the lack of impact fees collection.
We can handle that. We can handle that. Yes, the state legislature voted to decrease our capital by 0.25 mils, and this will take place in 2010. We are planning our budget in 2010 to meet our 1.5 mils for capital. We can do that. We have been very aggressive in our technology for our schools. That program will be pared way back. We are going to, we have the bus depot online. Other than that, there will be no other new construction. We did want to accelerate some of the payback of some of our debt, but that we probably will not be able to do. But no, we've done our calculations, and we can live within a 1.5 mils. We can't do some of the additional programming that we want within the capital to help with technology. But we're in good shape there. You know, at this point, we just have to be very cautious of what we spend. We can do it.
The bus depot, like the football fields, aren't payback items, so, I mean, we'll save transportation and costs, et cetera.
That's
the bus depot out in DeSoto.
That's correct. Of course, when you have your buses closer to the students transported, you do have savings in the time spent for the drivers, the gas, wear and tear on the buses. So, anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you all for coming. And as we always close, in the immortal words of Ed Miller, our founder, vote early and vote often.
Terrible justice.
Yeah, it was good.
What do you say, 25%? No, 26% to win.
25 plus 1 vote, that's all it takes.
25, okay.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. Sorry I buzzed you early. No problem. I'm still learning. That makes 2 of us. Very nice job.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Tripod.
Well, the legislature cut it, so we'll take it up to 10 million out of it. We're done building schools for a while. We were going to build another school in 11. So with the decline, we're pushing that off. Reasonable. It takes 3 years to go through the permit. So we did has the land development part of the permitting process.
And today is the 29th of September 2008. Less than a week to go for the election now.
Hold on. Can't hear you.
Come on closer.
Well, it just wasn't picking up.
Okay, yeah, but we got that truck in the background, so go ahead and come up a little closer. Today is September 29th, 2008. We have less than a week to go for the election, and we are here at the Collier Athletic Club in Naples, Florida. This was the very last candidate forum that we have scheduled for this election. It was hosted by the Tiger Bay Club. I have to say that it really has been a real privilege and a real learning experience to have the opportunity to go out Robert Neild and the Senator Bert Saunders. I learned a lot from both of them, actually. Hopefully they picked up a few things from me as well. Really, it's kind of surprising. At this moment, the last 6 days before the election, my schedule is surprisingly light. I find myself actually kind of fishing around, looking for events to go out there and to talk with people. And because we're not really running a traditional kind of campaign where we have a lot of people that are going out and canvassing and everything, which I think is the usual activity for this period, we are probably not going to have a lot of video footage left over the next few days. Hopefully we'll find something interesting to do on Halloween. We of course have the forum, the Middle East Forum, which is coming up later on this afternoon over at FGCU. I know on Saturday there's a News Press sponsored event. But basically at this point, with the exception of this afternoon, it's all kind of closing action from here on out. So we'll try and get some more candid footage, particularly on election day after the polls close. We're going to figure out a good party spot, which we haven't done yet. We'll have the cameras rolling. We'll try and broadcast live because I think that's really the last really critical thing that we have to see.